Hi everyone, my name is Kalli Champagne. I am an actor here at the 13th Gate. This is my third season. I am getting a master's degree as well in performance studies. More specifically, my focus is in live horror performance. So I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks today on how to use your voice to build your character. Just as a brief addendum, we are currently in the haunt, so you might hear a few weird noises here and there. Don't worry, it's just some props, just some noises. Okay, so as far as your voice goes, I will be the first to admit that I am not a vocal coach, so I can't give particular tips on things to do within your range or your register, but I can give you tools on how just to play around with other aspects of your voice. And something that is so important before you decide to, or before you go into work that day, or even before you're into makeup, before you go to your scene, is to do vocal warm-ups. They are extremely important to not damaging your voice. I can't give you the science behind that, but I know it's important. So there are a few tongue twisters that I really like to do that will help you enunciate your words a little better. The better you enunciate your words, the more you can be heard over any sort of noise that's going on in your scene. So if there's any music, if there's any sound effects going on, if there's like some compressed air that's very loud, these will be tools that you can use to make yourself heard and understood over all of that noise, which is great. A few of the ones that I like to do are your very typical theater warm-ups. These will include stuff like red leather, yellow leather, gets you to get those L's very loud and pronounced. And the faster you say it, the weirder it sounds. You might mess up, but the better you get at it, the more you can take that and translate it into what you're saying. Another theater one that I really like to use is blue blood, black blood. This is one that will help you hit the ending consonants to any particular sentences, which I find extremely helpful, and it's something that gets lost in a lot of people's way of speaking. Another one that I really like to do is Irish wristwatch. It's very hard to say, it's weird, it feels weird, it sounds weird, but the faster you can say that and the more enunciated you can say that, the better you'll get at enunciating just regular sentences properly. There are a few other things that I like to do. Something that I find really helps a lot is just like stretching out the muscles in your face. So something that I'll do a lot is, I call it lion face and lemon face. So for lion face, you're gonna make your mouth and your eyes like as wide as you can and hold it for a little bit. If you do this with a group of people, it's especially funny because then you get to look at everybody else and not laugh. It's really hard while you're making these faces. And the other one is lemon face. So you're gonna make your face like it's tiny, like really tiny, like you just ate like a really sour lemon or something. It's just as small as you can get it. And you can do that like lion face, lemon face, lion face, lemon face. And that will be something just to kind of get all of the muscles in your face working, warmed up, and ready to go, basically, for talking in your scene. When using your voice or when playing around with things to do with your voice in your scene, there are a lot of things that you can play with and a lot of things that might commonly be overlooked. So something that is really important to remember is that not everyone in a haunted house should be just jumping out and screaming at the people who walk through. That just gets boring. There need to be certain levels within the haunt. So it is important to possibly work with making your voice a little softer, especially if you can get, or if you are in close proximity to people who are coming through. If you have the chance to still be heard and still be kind of quiet, whispering is really creepy. And it's something that you can absolutely use depending on where you are and depending on what your character is. Something else that you can use is playing with the tempo of your voice or how quickly you're saying things. So maybe you are a character who's really frazzled and what you're saying, the content of what you're saying doesn't really matter. It's just you're speaking in service to a specific personality trait that you have given this character. That's also something that you can definitely play around with, especially if you have an asylum or something. They've always got these very interesting casts of very manic characters. That might be something that you can try. So another thing that you can use is enunciating your words. Maybe you are a character with a particular accent. Say if you are like a very southern character, or if you are from somewhere else, your accent is going to lend itself to pronouncing words differently. You are going to be saying words differently, maybe certain vowel sounds, or maybe the consonants at the end of a word may get lost if you have like a southern accent or something. Instead of saying ing words like ing, it's like in. Who knows? And these are all things that you can try in concert with each other. Don't just limit yourself to one, because when you play around with all these different facets of how to control your voice and how to use your voice, you can become a character that is just so well fleshed out, like you have become it. And that is the goal. That is awesome. The most important thing to remember is that you can have the backstory to your character is extremely important. When you have a character with a story, it becomes more lifelike. However, if you don't have specific ways to put that backstory into your body and tell that story with how you carry yourself or how you speak, then you don't have a leg to stand on. So these things work in concert with a backstory, and it is extremely crucial to try them out, see how they work. You have a lot of freedom with your voice. You have a lot of freedom to just try things out and see how they work, but it is also important to remember if something hurts or if something feels bad, don't do it. You don't want to push your voice too hard over the course of an evening, so the next night when you have to work, you don't have a voice at all. That's not good, and that's not sustainable. And just remember that when you are playing with these things and you are using all three of them in concert with each other, that it needs to be done in a way that is healthy. So if you're playing with volume and you're screaming all night, that's probably really bad for your voice and you maybe shouldn't do it. You can find other ways to try communicating certain things, and that will make your character so much more lifelike and so much more interesting. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that after watching this video, you've been able to get some tips and tricks on how to play with your voice and use it to build your character. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.